in terms of what happened before you came home, did people talk to you about what they thought had happened and give you any advice or information before you left hospital?
Yeah, I got told how to use a Jext pen, which before I didn't know how to use at all.
Okay.
And they just gave us like a little leaflet about it, and they let us take this training EpiPen home, which works really well because it feels like the actual needle. So that,
does it? Okay.
yeah,
yeah. So she did it on all of us because it does actually. You do get, you jump when you do it.
I think if people with allergies has that, like if the training Jext pen or an EpiPen, then, and if they just every now and again just like use it to know that they won't flinch away if they have to use the actual needle on themselves, because I think before that I would have like flinched away, and I would have like pulled out the EpiPen instead of waiting for 10 seconds. But now that I'm to the feeling, I think I'll be able to use the Jext pen properly.
Sorry, just to clarify, you'd had pens all the time, shortage of them, so we were given a Jext pen instead. So initial training from the hospital would be given the practice EpiPen, not the Jext pen. So that was good. They made sure that we had one of those so that we could all practice on that, because even though it's not that much different from the EpiPen, it is slightly different. So
and you feel that's important so that you know exactly what you're going to do with it.
I think it's essential to have those practice, just for everybody involved. For yes, when she was younger, I mean, when she was really little, she'd go on, you know, like to friends' houses for tea, and I would always go along with the practice EpiPen to show the parent when I got there what we needed to do. That's really essential, because when you're panicking, you cannot be reading instructions on it or anything like that. So to be able to actually have a go with the practice.
And do you get it out now and again to have another practice? Because I think we often do this in clinic, and it makes me slightly worried that some families go home and then don't practice at home, and then if they ever needed to use it, then you're almost back to that panic stage and not remembering. But I think you said that you get it out now and again, and that you do have a practice, Niamh.
Yeah.
Yes, when I'm not expecting it.
Okay. So I think that's a really important message for families as well, and for us as doctors and nurses to say that yes, we're giving you this practice pen, but we would like you once a month, or just surprise everybody and take it out and practice, because it does help you to feel more confident, doesn't it, that you're going to be able to use it effectively and know how it feels as well, Niamh. That's really important as well, isn't it?
And even when our friends come round, because I think afterwards, the first time she saw friends, she was doing it on them as well.
Good.
So they knew how it felt, and then they were doing it back, and you know, they were having fun with it, I suppose, but still important because it's making them familiar with it. Because it could be she's out with a friend when something like this happens. But I think it's important that our friends know and understand what's happening.
And we do talk to young people about that, and some have already done that, which is great. I think some are a little bit reluctant to tell their friends that they carry an EpiPen and ask them to have a practice with it. Would you have a message for them, Niamh, in terms of young people who are a bit reluctant to do that?
Well, when it comes to a life or death situation, it's something that should just be done. Like the friends I've had, I've known them for years, and one of my close friends, her brother has an allergy to nuts, so she's always known how to use an EpiPen and everything. So it's just you should just tell them, because it's.
And when she was younger, you know, because I mean, we've known about this, and she's had an EpiPen the whole time she's been in school, and all the children in the class have always known about it, and they're quite protective, especially in primary school. They would tell their parents, no, you can't put that in my packed lunch because Niamh's got a nut allergy. And they were brilliant, and it was excellent that you know, that they all knew about it. It's never been anything that, yeah, it was just part of Niamh and anatomy.
But I think then you haven't got anything to hide, have you? And you know, going out now with your friends is no different from the way you've always done, because they do understand your allergy. They understand why you need to be careful about choosing foods. It probably doesn't feel as awkward with them as it might do if they didn't know that. And then, as you say, if something happened and you accidentally ate, you know, a peanut bar, you know, and had a reaction, your friends would know what to do.
And
So
now
those,
she goes out when they go to restaurants. It's really important that she tells them when they get there. And we've got to say a lot of restaurants are really getting good at this, and
like they have allergy books.
yeah,
and it's just the case, because like, for example, when I go to Nando's, like the first time I went, they made me look at an allergy book. So if you do have an allergy, don't steer away from saying no to looking at the allergy book, because it's just good to know what you can and can't have.
Another thing for young people, if they're unsure, that the manager has to deal with Niamh's order, and she often gets her food separate to her friends. It comes first. But again, you know, it might embarrass some young people, but it's just really, really important. And all our friends understand. None of them are bothered by it.
And do you find people generally quite good in restaurants, Niamh, when you go?
Yeah, I mean, there was one incident, like you could tell the way I was new, and they just turned to me, and I told them at the tills, I said, oh, I have a peanut allergy, and the woman looked at the bowl of nuts next to us, and she was like, and she started like she started getting cling thumb, like they are really, really careful with it, and like my mom said, they have the managers to take all my orders now, and that's just usually, I think that's just a general thing that happens now. Cause
Good. So it sounds like you chatting to your friends, you feel a lot happier and a lot more confident, and you and your husband Andrew feel a lot more confident as well, Louise.
Yeah.
I just wondered, one thing that we wondered is, you know, the anaphylactic reaction that you had, did it change your approach to anything? You know, you've talked about feeling not as anxious about using the adrenaline, which is great, and also highlighted how important it was that friends knew how to use the pen. Is there anything else that it changed? Or were those the most important things?
I think we went back, because we'd kind of like dropped our guard on like checking stuff, like really checking stuff, and we went back to doing regular checks, because like there's been times where like we've bought stuff and the first time we've got it may contain peanuts, and within a month they've changed the packaging to saying may contain peanuts, so it's made us regularly check again.
Okay, so you think you've just become more careful about that and not take things for granted. Okay. One important question that we wanted to ask is, based on your experience, what would you tell doctors and nurses about how to look after young people who have either come in with anaphylaxis or are at risk of having an anaphylaxis? One thing you mentioned, Niamh, was about the sickness and being, you know, making sure that you asked about that and thought about how you made that better. So that's an important thing. Is there anything else that you think is really important?
The need to make sure that people with allergies are really aware that it's not something to be scared of, and that it needs to be, if they think that they're having an allergic reaction, that they shouldn't not take the Jex pen or an EpiPen. Like they should take it, because I've been told like people won't get angry at you if it's not a like full blown reaction. You just if you know something's not right, you should take it.
He was younger, because we were lucky, because I feel we did get, you know, really good training initially from the hospital. And one of the things I always used to do, whether it was parents, if she was going to people's homes, or when she joined guides, youth clubs, I would always stress to people that if in doubt, give the EpiPen, that they would get no, repercussions for me. My husband and I would not be cross at all if it was ever given unnecessarily. We'd rather that than they hesitated and didn't give it. And I think that's quite important, because people would hesitate, I think, so it's given people the confidence to do that. One other thing I would say is just to make sure that parents are aware that their children are made aware of it very, very young. I mean, Niamh was about 18 months, 2 years when we first found out about it. She's always known she's got a nut allergy. She's always known that it could make her very, very poorly. And then as she's got a bit older, that, it can actually kill you. She has always taken some responsibility for it, which I'm really pleased. I mean, she's a bright, intelligent girl, and I'm lucky in that respect. She did understand, and there's even been cases where she's been more careful than I have. And she wants, we go use caravans. We've always gone on caravan holidays. And I once overheard her say to a family who offered her a sausage. She was only about 4.
It was like a biscuit or
Was
something.
it? Yeah.
It was like a custard cream.
No, that was another one. There was a sausage, and I could hear her say, "Now, do they have peanuts in?" Little, and then the biscuit incident again. Yes. She came running up saying, "Is it okay if I have this biscuit?" And I went, "Oh, yes, those biscuits are fine." And she said, "And I checked, there haven't been in a biscuit tin with any other biscuits with nuts." And that really, because I never even thought to ask that. So,
so that, and that's, that's a huge important thing in life, isn't it? That we allow our young people to take responsibility from a very early age, because then it's more like it's second nature for you, Niamh, now, isn't it? And you're not scared about it either. And I think that's a really important message. Things that you've highlighted which are really important are the fact that people shouldn't be scared about their allergy. People shouldn't be scared about using the EpiPen because it works, or the Jex pen because it works really, really well, particularly in terms of the needle and how quickly it made a difference to you, and how also that practice and understanding how to use it helps you to feel more confident, and your experience has helped you to feel more confident as well. Is there anything else that we have missed that you feel is important to share with people about your experience for us as doctors and nurses?
So as I've gotten older, I just don't know if I wasn't exposed to like peanuts when I was younger, and I was just quite lucky. But as I've gotten older, I've realised that when I'm in not direct contact, but when like I'm in contact with nuts, like say in a close area with me, I'll know about it, because today it actually happened today in school. Someone was eating a peanut butter Kit Kat, like people away from me, and I knew that something was happening. I mean, I got like a heat spot on like my lip, and like my neck and my jaw started getting really itchy. So it's like I know when they're around. So if someone who has an allergy is able to like figure out that they something changes when they're like in a certain situation, it might be that it's like they're able to know when the peanuts are around.
I think you're very hyper aware, aren't you? You're very aware of things, and I think people say they're very sensitive smell wise. They can pick it up really easily. Whereas for those of us who aren't allergic, we're not made the same way, or we're just not as hyper alert as you will be. So I think that's important as well. So it makes you extra vigilant, I suppose, doesn't it? And just that you're aware of that happening.